Girl math, a new TikTok trend, has been all over my feed and in the news. For those of you who don't know, this is a trend that showcases the interesting mental accounting that people, in particular women, often use to justify their purchases and spending habits. And on the surface, this just seems like relatable internet content. And I hate to sound like a curmudgeon, but I don't think this jokey joke content is very funny. This trend reinforces the idea that women don't manage their money responsibly when in reality the stats say otherwise. In fact, women actually manage their money way better than men. And on top of that, this trending topic is the perfect segue into a larger conversation, teaching future generations in school about personal finance. In school, we learn science, history, and how to read and write. But there are no classes on budgeting, no classes on investing, and they definitely don't teach you how to grow your money. This results in young adults not being financially prepared for the real world and not knowing how to get where they want to be financially. So today, we're going to break down some stereotypes, and I'm going to give you the info and confidence to really jumpstart your financial journey. First off, to give a little perspective on this topic, I want to frame it as a conversation topic you've probably heard before. Raise your hand if you've ever heard the phrase, "women are bad drivers." Yep, women's ability or lack thereof when it comes to operating motor vehicles is a common trope and topic and joke in pop culture and TV shows. Don't we find it interesting that car insurance premiums, the fee you pay for car insurance based on how likely you are to get into an accident, are actually higher for men? Yeah, it's because in reality, women are not the ones more likely to run into issues or other cars on the road. Similarly to this driving example, the stereotype that women are bad with money or math or don't take their finances seriously is detrimental to society because it perpetuates negative stereotypes that frankly just aren't true. Women have already been excluded from the money conversation for generations, and these comments made by women themselves only furthers the notion that you're lesser than and that you could never possibly be independently rich. But I need to be honest, this stereotype didn't just appear out of thin air. For decades, women have been quote unquote bad with money, but not for the reason you think. It's because the system was rigged to make it so. Here are some infuriating truths. It wasn't until 1900 that all states allowed women to hold property in their own names. It wasn't until 1974 that women were able to apply for and obtain mortgages on their own without a male cosigner. And even today, women still earn less than men in many of the world's largest and most developed economies, even when they're doing the same jobs as their male counterparts at the same company. Specifically, in a 2022 Pew Research Center analysis on median hourly earnings of both full and part-time workers, women earned an average of 82% of what men earned. But guess what? Even though these injustices persist, so do women. The actual girl facts and girl stats are telling a very exciting story that I, for one, am very proud to share with you. First and foremost, women have less debt in every single loan category with one exception. Want to take a guess at what it is? That's right, student debt, which isn't too surprising since women have overtaken men and now account for more than half, 50.7%, of the college-educated labor force in the United States, according to a Pew Research Center analysis of government data. And they're not just enrolling in schools. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, just over 40% of men who enrolled in a four-year college in 2014 graduated after 4 years compared to nearly 50% of women. The completion gap between men and women who graduated within 6 years was narrower, though women still took the lead. Second, single women are more likely to be homeowners. Single women in the United States are increasingly pursuing home ownership, driven by factors such as financial independence, a desire for stability, and changing societal norms. According to the National Association of Realtors, as of 2023, single women made up 17% of all home buyers, occupying 10.76 million homes in the US. Single men, by contrast, accounted for just 9%. In fairness, couples both married and unmarried remain the dominant group, buyers in about 70% of real estate purchases, which again makes sense since two incomes are likely better than one. And three, my favorite fact of all, turns out even though every person you see on CNBC talking about the stock market happens to be an old guy in a Patagonia vest, turns out women are actually better investors than men. New analysis of more than 5 million Fidelity customers over the last 10 years finds that on average, women outperformed their male counterparts by 40 basis points. So yeah, this isn't some rinky-dink study across 100 people. This was research conducted by one of the largest, most established brokerages in the world, and it was conducted on over 5 million of their customers. So now that we know all of this, what can we do to not only change the perception of women and money, but also support our best girlfriends in getting their bag? First up, we gotta talk to each other about money. Don't you find it weird that you know everything about your best friend, their favorite food, that mole shaped like a boomerang that they have on their back, and even the last person they might have had a little hanky-panky with, but you don't know what they get paid? For so long, we've been told talking about money is taboo, tacky, rude. But when we don't talk about money, the only people who benefit are the folks in power. When you understand what other people are making, you have a deeper understanding of what is fair and what you should be asking for. If you and your BFF can talk about private parts, you can talk about pay. On top of that, talking about money helps to reduce resentment and misconceptions. You know how you're always wondering how your friends afforded that vacation to Mykonos? Ask them. Maybe their parents are helping them with rent. Maybe their rent is a lot less than yours. This will help you set more realistic financial expectations for yourself. Second thing we need to do, we need to have the confidence of a mediocre man. There was recently an article about how fewer women than men apply for jobs that pay an annual salary of $100,000 or more. But those who do are more likely to get hired than their male counterparts, per data from recruiting software company ICIMS. And after reading that headline, I felt like that kombucha meme. At first I was like, yay, that's awesome. And then I was like, wait, hold up. Why are we applying less often? Why are we doing that? Because basic logic would imply that if we're applying less and getting the job more often, wouldn't applying at an equal frequency as men mean even more women get high-paying jobs? Yes. So here's a friendly reminder. Some unqualified man with half of your skills and experience is looking at that same job posting you are and thinking, who better than me? I'm not saying that you are qualified or men are less qualified. I'm saying everybody is equally unqualified. Somebody's gotta get the job though. Might as well be you. And 3, we need to advocate with our legislators to teach personal finance in schools. It's such a shame that this critically important life skill isn't offered as part of the federally mandated public school curriculum. You are not bad with money. You are not stupid. You are not behind. You've just never been taught. We pride ourselves on dragging kids through school for 12 years. Math, reading, science, history, but we don't teach personal finance when it's actually the most important subject. So much so that regardless of what career path you choose, you need to understand it. And that's also why you have me to help teach you. To wrap up this video, I'm not against doing mental accounting, which is essentially just what girl math is. I'm a huge proponent of not cutting out your everyday pleasures, whether that be a trip to Starbucks on the way to work or a pedicure. But you need to acknowledge that those things bring you joy and cost money. And there is certainly no need to infantilize women or reduce their spending down to a catchy little saying to make it more palatable. I hope this video gave you a little bit more insight into the relationship between women and money. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more valuable finance content. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Love ya!